Okay, we are live. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna leave this one, maybe make it smaller. I think we'll start seeing when people have joined.
All right. Over here?
I think so, yeah. Maybe do this. Oh yeah, see it says 0 viewers.
Okay.
I wonder how long we'll have to wait.
I don't know. Could be interesting.
Could be interesting.
Or not. It could be very boring.
It could be boring. It could be yes. I mean, we could just start having a conversation, I guess.
We could just talk about what we're going to fix for dinner. We're going to make oatmeal cookies.
Yeah, that's a good question. I was thinking before we go to the store, we should probably
Make a list from those cookies.
well, and also we should figure out what else we're gonna eat while you're here. See how much taco salad we have left,
Yeah.
and
Seems like quite a bit.
it does.
Yeah.
And we don't want it to go bad, so
It'll get eaten. Not to worry.
we have one viewer.
Oh, lovely.
Hi. It's just the three of us now. We're just discussing what food to eat for the next few days. Please let us know if you can hear and see what's going on. Before we really get started, we'll have to make sure it's all functional, yeah. Hopefully you can comment. I can't tell who you are, so I just see that there's one viewer.
If they can't see or hear you.
There you go.
Joke's on you.
It's just a blank screen and nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening. Yeah. Oh, that's not good.
Well, they gotta be viewing something. I feel like I should maybe move it closer because of the way that the microphone is. See how you can see it, what it's picking up when it lights up?
Oh, the green dots.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably better to be able to hear us better.
Maybe. Where is the microphone on this?
It's
up there?
No, actually, I think it's. Oh, it's down here.
Oh.
Right. Check. Yeah, I think it's right there.
And where are speakers on this?
Right there, and the little.
Oh, these.
Mm-hmm.
And the microphone is.
Microphones. I think the microphone's just on this side.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it's just right there.
Odd. Okay, well, somebody's here. I have no idea who.
Okay. If there's any way you can comment, that would be great. Maybe whether you comment on Patreon on the post that I just made, or if you could comment on the YouTube page as well, because I'm not sure. Last time there were issues between which page we should use for comments and questions. So okay, we got a couple more viewers now. Maybe somebody can comment and let us know if you can hear us and see us, and whether it's all working for you or not before we really get started. You might hear some car noises, maybe in the background. You might hear, we're supposed to have thunder and lightning today, but haven't
so far, no show.
Haven't seen or heard any yet, but maybe if we're lucky.
That would be fun.
We're both hoping for some
good thunder and lightning.
Thunder and lightning, yeah. It's really rare in California, so
well, at least where we live.
Yeah. Don't you think just in general
in the Sierras it's big?
Oh.
Yeah, too far from you.
Yeah.
Too far from me. But I don't know, maybe in the desert?
Maybe, probably. Probably there's a lot of extra electricity flying around out there.
Yeah. Could be.
Okay, so we're not... Oh, our viewers are going down.
I don't think anybody can see us.
I'm going to comment on here and see. We're live now. Can you see and or hear us?
Please let us know.
hopefully it's not malfunctioning.
Hopefully people are just shy.
Yeah, that could be. Just somebody say hi or something.
Maybe we should try sign language.
I don't know. I only know thank you.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I can spell some things.
True.
But...
I don't know.
Oh, yay. There we go.
Okay.
Question is...
Oh, good.
Commenting here or on YouTube, on Patreon or YouTube. I think Patreon is better because, oh, hi.
Oh, good.
Yay. Okay, so you can hear us okay, I'm assuming. So yeah, any questions you have, post them on this Patreon thread, and I will be checking them on the side. Okay, so this is my mom. This is Jan Whitehurst.
Hi.
She's here visiting Texas from California for a week.
Yep.
And I've asked her to join me on my second live stream. And I'm glad that she said yes. I just thought
she twisted my arm.
I did not really.
Not really. Not really.
Yeah, I just thought it would be fun. And kind of cool if anybody has questions for her, and also
I know all her secrets.
Most.
No, I know all of them.
So to get it started, I was thinking that it might be interesting to hear what my mom's perspective has been on some of the really big music times in history, because one thing I think is really, really fascinating to me is that she was around and was a fan of the Beatles when they were blowing up.
Started.
Yeah, when they first showed up in the U.S. and when they were first doing their TV appearances and that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so I'm interested to hear a little bit about that.
Okay.
And I inherited her sister, my aunt's records. She just didn't want or need them anymore, so she gave them to me. And I love listening to the Beatles records because I just imagine my mom and my aunt, listening to them on repeat, I guess you could say, but you probably have to lift a little. Can't really repeat a record, but
no.
Just flip it, keep flipping it.
Keep flipping it. Yeah.
And they're worn, they're obviously used, but they still work, and it just is so cool.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
So did you see those now it's escaping me what the show was. I want to say Letterman, but I know that wasn't it.
Ed Sullivan.
Yes, Sullivan.
Sullivan. Of course. So just before the Beatles broke, and I was in California and close to Santa Cruz, which is a surfing area. And we were very dedicated to the Beach Boys, who were entirely different from the Beatles. And when the Beatles first came, and they were on the Ed Sullivan Show, and at that time, the Beach Boys had fairly short hair, and most kids did. Not really not crew cuts, but fairly short and tidy hair. And the Beach Boys, of course, wore like Hawaiian shirts or a lot of Madras plaid shirts. And when the Beatles showed up with their hair that was probably shorter than mine is right now, but with their neat little suits and skinny ties and skinny pants, and they were so different that people kind of got tribal about it. There was the Beach Boys tribe and the Beatles tribe, and it was very interesting to see the evolution and how the Beatles were kind of assimilated into the whole culture. But the adults at the time were shocked at the Beatles. And when I remember teachers at school just talking about the Beatles and saying, "Oh, well, that's just ridiculous music," and all they do is stand around and go, "Ooh, ooh, ooh," and it was just really funny because they had no appreciation at all, and we did. And when they were on the Ed Sullivan Show, it was like everybody watched that show. Everybody did. And my family did not have a color TV at that time. They were very, very expensive. But my neighbors had a color TV, the Beltrans. So my sister and I went next door to watch the Ed Sullivan Show with the Beatles. And we were like amazed, well, not really amazed, but surprised, and like didn't quite understand all these girls at the TV studio just screaming and crying. It was very odd to us. Yeah. Very odd to us. I mean, we had been to live concerts and we didn't see that kind of behavior. But these girls were just, they were like over the top crazy. But, and the same thing happened. I was able to go to the Beatles show at Candlestick Park, which was,
yeah. I was wondering that. I was telling Doug that you went to that.
Yes.
And then I second guessed. I wasn't totally sure whether you
saw
it.
No, yeah. I was able to go to that. And it was the same kind of experience. I mean, we were up in box seats, and I don't know what those are called at the baseball field. But they're
nosebleeds?
Well, no, not in the bleachers. We were in those.
Oh, like the first row above the ground? Or
no, like not like the fancy
midway?
rooms,
like midway?
But they were, I don't know, but they were like private boxes.
How did you get that?
Because of Bruce's dad.
Oh, okay.
So, free
inside connection,
free tickets, yeah. And so they came running out like from the dugout. There was this big stage set up on the field with these huge amplifiers and speakers and all kinds of stuff, and you couldn't hear them because of all of the screaming.
Not at all. So, you could only hear screaming.
You couldn't hear the singing. I mean, you could hear some of the music, but you couldn't hear the singing. And again, it was kind of like, I'd go home and scream at your record player.
Yeah.
It was just, I wanted to hear them, and you really couldn't hear them very well. So that was.
Yeah, that must have been frustrating.
It was very frustrating. It was very frustrating.
And that was before. So could you see them? Because that was before Jumbotrons too.
Oh yeah, no Jumbotrons. Yeah, you could see them. I mean, they were like this big.
Yeah.
But you could see them, and it was cool to see them, but it would have been nice to be able to hear them too.
Right.
So that was
since that's the whole point.
Yeah, that was frustrating. And I believe that was their last live show here in the States.
Oh, really?
I think it was.
So it was later in their career?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because after that they didn't tour. After that, they started doing all this stuff and stuff. Yeah, doing the movies, and they went to India and learned to play the sitar. And, yeah.
I didn't realize they stopped touring.
Yeah, they did.
At least the U.S. after.
Yeah, and it could have been
early. That seems early in their career.
It could have been all touring. I don't know. We'd have to look at it.
Yeah,
we could Google it.
Yeah, we could.
So yeah, it was a very interesting time for music, and then flowing into that was. Oh God, the Rolling Stones. So then there became, Beatles versus Stones thing, which was again entirely different music.
Yeah, yeah.
So it was easy.
It was
choose. Odd. Yeah. Well, it was just different. It's how things changed. It was very cool.
Yeah.
But I think people at the time appreciated all of it. It was music. It was good music.
Yeah.
So
what a cool time.
I know.
Lots going on for music.
Yeah. And there was all the folk music going on at the same time too.
Mm-hmm. All the hippie stuff.
All the hippie stuff going on.
Yeah.
Which was also very cool.
Yeah, and also very California, San Francisco, Bay Area centric.
Very, very much.
At least there was a lot coming from there.
A lot from there, yeah. And it was interesting because a lot of it was social and political commentary, which, at that age, at, late, teens, it's like, oh, I know about that.
Yeah.
Didn't really, but you thought you did. So it was cool. It was very cool. Lots going on.
So, well, let's see if we have any questions.
Okay.
Before we continue to talk about that. I guess along those same lines, did you have a favorite Beatle?
Well, Paul was very cute and sociable. So, and I always kind of felt bad for Ringo. You know, he seemed to be a fabulous drummer, but he just kind of seemed like the underdog or something. Yeah. I don't know. I would have to say I was very, you know, girly, and that Paul was my favorite.
I liked Paul too.
Yeah. I liked the lyrics he wrote, and you know, but they were all great. So yeah.
Okay, on another subject, we've got Greg Johnson asking, Mom, what did you do to help encourage my creativity?
Well,
and you might as well tie that into what was I like as a kid.
Are you sure you want me to tell them that?
I mean, you know, use your discretion.
Yes. Okay. So in our house, when the kids were little, we didn't do a whole lot of TV. There wasn't a whole lot of TV watching. In fact, there were no Saturday cartoons until Emily's brother Logan went to kindergarten, and the teacher had a theme of the Smurfs. And we didn't know what Smurfs were. We had no clue. And so we had Smurfs on Saturday morning, but it was, you know, Mr. Rogers and
Sesame Street.
Sesame Street, right. And that was it. So their time was spent playing and coloring and painting and building things with blocks, and a lot of outside time, a lot of talking, a lot of books, singing, and
a lot of imagination type stuff too.
Right.
And we had a little tape recorder that we would I don't know, make radio shows and stories and record.
Emily and Logan did a lot of that. A lot of interviewing each other and making up stories.
Well, I remember also you I think part of it, the creativity stuff also relates to how you were, I feel like you were creative with, I mean, you were creative as well. What comes to mind is is how you would make the Play-Doh.
Oh,
like we'd play with Play-Doh, but it was homemade Play-Doh.
Homemade Play-Doh, yeah.
And you know, I would watch her make it, and she's got the bowl of the dough, and she's putting food coloring in it to make it, different colors, and I feel like you were creative in those ways as well.
Well, there were a lot of hands-on activities, and we did, you know, even when you were little, we did a lot of cooking together. Mm-hmm. So it was a joint creative effort, and you know, kids need the opportunity to explore, which I think we gave you that. It was, you know, there weren't a whole lot of restrictions on creativity.
Mm-mm.
So
I remember finger painting too, and drawing a lot, coloring
and all that good stuff.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think it probably starts really young like that.
Yeah, it does, because if you know, they were given the time, they had the time because they weren't plugged into anything. Mm-hmm. So they had the time, and they were just creative, you know, intelligent, outgoing kids, and they collaborated in their creativity. Mm-hmm. You know, I remember you and Logan playing, doing some games with that dollhouse, and that poor father kept falling down the stairs. That was a riot.
Yeah.
So,
we had a dollhouse, and we had this one guy this a plastic guy that we would flip over the, it was like a miniature checkers thing. Like there was a little checkers set that went in the house, and we would flip over there was a checkers holder that was white. We'd flip it over so it looked like a bar of soap, and then we put it on the stairs, and he would come walking along, and then he would slip on the soap and just fall down the stairs. We did that constantly.
Over and over.
We loved making that guy
and then they'd laugh like crazy. Oh, he fell down the stairs again. That guy died 1,000 deaths.
Yeah, I did. We also had some records that I remember we had one of those little record players with the plastic records that don't break.
Right.
And like, you know, like brightly colored, like thick plastic,
Right.
not like a real record. But we had one that was like some piece of classical music on each side. And we like to make up stories
to go with the music,
and act it out. And one of them was like a frantic, not Flight of the Bumblebee, but something like it.
Right.
You know, this is some frantic string music, and we made up that there was this chef that was making a big cake. So we're making this big, huge, tall cake that stacks up and up, and then whatever event that he had to deliver it to was at the top of a tower. So it must have been something about that music that was, you know, seemed big and tall. And so he, you know, he's running and he takes the cake and I think he falls.
He probably did.
He falls and smashes the cake.
It was probably a spiral staircase up the tower. And he probably fell all the way down.
It definitely was. I bet the song had an ending that was kind of, you know, sounded like someone.
We had no stairs in our house. Never any of my houses had stairs.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure we got it from cartoons or something.
Oh, yeah.
Some tower. It was a tall, skinny tower with stairs going all the way up.
That's weird. So they were self-amusers, which was awesome for me because they would play for hours and I could get other stuff done. So Emily was very easy as a child to answer that question. Very easygoing. No temper tantrums, no defiance. Happy child, read at a very young age, which promoted self-amusement, was polite, sweet. Her teachers loved her. Mom. Her teachers loved her. It was great. It was great. And, you know, she continues to be that way. So it's a mom thing.
Let's see what other questions we have. Oh, we got some love for Logan. We told some, some Logan stories. How's the new album? Oh, press box seats. Press box seats. Do you think that's what it was?
Maybe. They weren't they weren't the highest level of seats. You know those private rooms that have like room catering service. It wasn't that. It was below that, but it was pretty high. But it was the kind that had, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 seats in it that you got into through a door.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I don't know.
That might be right.
I don't know.
Press box seats.
I have no idea.
As you can see, maybe because you can see the game better. The press would be there and they could take photos there.
Yeah.
And it's part way up, but it's not all the way at the top. And it's not enclosed. It's,
right.
It wasn't enclosed, but it had a door. It wasn't like there were windows in front of you.
No, there weren't windows. It was open, but there were side walls. You could only get in from like the, the hallway and the door going in. Mm-hmm. So it was kind of nice because you weren't sitting next to someone who was screaming in your ear.
Yeah. And your view wasn't blocked.
Right. The view wasn't blocked at all. So I was very fortunate that my high school boyfriend's father used to get free tickets to a lot of shows in the Bay Area. And at the time there were tons of things going on.
Yeah.
So we saw all kinds of performances from Lena Horne to the Beatles and Peter, Paul and Mary and Chad and Jeremy and Simon and Garfunkel and just all kinds of really, really good, cool. Really good. I was very lucky.
You didn't go to the Monterey Pops thing, did you?
No.
Okay.
I don't like crowds.
Did you have some sort of a, I know that he's from Seattle, but I could have sworn that at some point you said there was some sort of connection to Jimi Hendrix. Like maybe he was in the Bay Area for a little while or something? Or am I could be totally wrong.
I think it could be that, again, same boyfriend worked for a time at Tahoe at a club in Tahoe. one summer, and I was working in the Santa Cruz Mountains, but I went up there to spend a long weekend. I didn't see Jimi Hendrix, but he played at the club where Bruce worked.
Okay.
And the club was owned by Corey Lirios's dad, who is the one in Pablo Cruz.
Oh, okay.
So that's the connection there.
Okay. So what were you were saying to me earlier that about some of the people who went to your school? You mentioned a guy from Pablo Cruz and a guy who started
Santana. Yeah.
It's one of the, I mean, sure, Santana was one of the founding members, but he was
a co-founder. So I went to Cubberley High School in Palo Alto, and there was a group of guys who were seniors when I was a sophomore. They were a lot of fun. They were a little on the wild side.
I believe it.
They were fun, but you know, people all over up there had garage bands, and so his name was Greg Raleigh, and he was a really nice guy and really cute. And he was in a garage band with his friends while he was in high school. And then when he graduated, he co-founded a band with Santana. And his house was actually...
Oh, wait, was it not? I guess it wasn't Santana.
No, it was.
Oh, it was Santana.
Yeah,
okay.
It was Santana. So, and they actually, in good garage band fashion, would sometimes practice at Greg's house, which was not too far from the high school. And then, I mean, it was like, what's Santana? We didn't know.
Right.
It was just Greg Raleigh's band.
Who's going to,
get
big eventually.
Right. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. And then I was telling Emily earlier that my high school boyfriend had a garage band, and one of the kids in his band, who was a year younger than us, his name was Corey Lirios. He went on to become part of Pablo Cruz and is still doing that.
You know, there's a guy who works in, I don't know if we have any viewers on here that are from the North Bay or live there or live, whatever. I remember going to the equipment store, the musical equipment store in Cotati that's there. I forget what it's called. The name of it changed now, but I remember going there when I first started going to school at Sonoma State, and I wonder if it was him, because a guy who worked there and was an owner of the place was telling us that he was in Pablo Cruz.
Oh,
that he was from Pablo Cruz, and I was like, I don't
know. Yeah.
I've never heard of your band. I'm sorry. And he was so annoyed.
Yeah.
He was like, what?
Yeah.
You don't know. And he started like listing album titles and stuff. I was just like,
well, and I'm not familiar with Pablo Cruz, but I do remember, you know how we always sit and watch all the end credits of movies, and Corey's name was up there, and it was Corey Lirios, and I was like, oh, I know someone named Corey Lirios. I wonder if it's the same guy, and it was.
Huh? Like working on a soundtrack of a movie. Oh,
yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah. So a lot of artists in that area at that time, especially, or maybe still. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Let's see if we have any other questions. Oh. What's your opinion on my new acoustic record? It says covers, but I guess covers of my own songs.
Opinion?
Yeah, what's your opinion?
Okay, so here's my opinion. When Emily was with Tsunami Bomb, I enjoyed going to the concerts and to the shows and listening to the music. And I remember the first time that I went to one of her shows, I was like, oh, I had no idea. I really was like, that's quiet Emily up there jumping around and doing. I was surprised. I honestly didn't know what a big deal it was. It was kind of like, oh, Emily's singing in a band. That's nice. She loves to sing. And so, Tsunami Bomb was fun, but I was telling her this yesterday, I guess, that I have really appreciated the music, all of the music since she left Tsunami Bomb, because in my, you know, for my old ears, now it's music. I can understand the words. I get the meaning. The lyrics are great. The music is great. And I just wanted to be able to hear her voice, which I can now. So and acoustic to me, you know, I'm old school. So acoustic is great. Acoustic is great. I love it.
Yeah.
So
it's the most clear vocals you'll get. Probably.
Right. Right. And, you know, as
Aside
the mother, you want to hear your child. And I remember all the way back to, and you may remember this too, back to kindergarten, the Christmas program.
Oh yeah. That we had the video of.
Singing this song. And Emily's kindergarten teacher was a music person. And she had this sweet little voice and perfect pitch that her kindergarten teacher would tell everyone, oh, Emily has perfect pitch. You just don't get that in a 5-year-old.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Yes. So
that's funny. Yes. I remember the video, but I don't remember her saying that.
Oh yeah. She was just like, oh, you just don't get that in little kids. You know, they sing all wonky and all over the place. And, you know, not only do they forget the words, but they can't carry a tune. Yeah. So she was quite impressed with you.
Well, you know, I think it was natural.
Yes.
It's not like I practiced at 5 years old.
Right. And just singing along with all those records and
I guess,
everything. Singing along in the car.
Yeah, maybe to the Beatles.
To the Beatles and James Taylor and everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the acoustic record, I just want to say I'm so happy that it's out, and I really appreciate you guys' support that you've given so far. I know a good number of patrons have actually purchased the record, which just blows me away because you guys are already supporting me. So it's really it means a lot to me to for you guys to be there, I guess, and to be part of it. It's really awesome. And I also feel really relieved because, you know, as most of you know, it's been a long process, a long time in the making, and getting all the videos done and out, and now it's done. I'm feeling pretty good about it. And I just want to thank you. So thank you for that. If you haven't listened to it yet, it's everywhere. And it should be, if there's a platform you use that it's not on, let me know, because then I can try and figure out how to get it on there. But it's on all of the major ones. Let's see, looking at these comments, Danny, I see Danny says he made it, and then Danny's nephew is on under Danny's name. So, hey, what's up, Danny and Danny's nephew?
Awesome.
I'm glad you're both here. Question is, if I can talk a little about the origin of the acoustic album and what made me want to do it. I've kind of always, this is the first time I've ever done an acoustic album throughout my entire musical career. And I've kind of always thought it was just cool to hear a different version of the same song. Like some of my favorite artists, it's just kind of cool to hear how they reimagine their own song. And now that I'm doing Survival Guide and it's just me, I can do whatever I want. So, and I also thought it would be a good exercise for me because I don't consider myself a piano player in the least. I still don't. I can play what I need to play, and that's about it. So I thought it would also help me get better at playing and singing and composing on piano. And it's just kind of also a fun exercise to, as you guys know, I've been doing the covers and taking some songs and making them acoustic or stripped down. And it's kind of a fun musical exercise to do that. And I don't remember where the idea came from to do the videos along with Actually, I think it was mostly because of that piano that's there at the where I filmed at the lodge at the Regency. Have you seen any of the videos yet?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you have?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just so pretty there.
It is pretty.
And they had that old piano. I don't own a real piano, so so it just kind of came together and seemed like a cool thing to do and a cool way to release the record. You know, to have videos with it. I feel like as a musician, my YouTube page is kind of lacking in content. I've got a few music videos, but I don't tend to just film something and throw it up on YouTube. At least so far, I've been kind of, I guess, keeping it more curated than a lot of people do, which isn't necessarily a good thing. I think I need more stuff on there because YouTube is so popular, and that's where, at least they say that that's where most people listen to music. Have you heard that?
I've heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I find it strange.
It's like, I mean, I guess, yeah, I watch videos. I watch music videos sometimes.
Right.
And I can go down a music video rabbit hole. But I think from what I hear, people make playlists. They make their own playlists
Mm-hmm.
out of videos and just song, videos
Right.
where it's not a video. It's
right.
just
It's
a
just the
still.
music. Right.
Yeah, it's just a still
Right.
and the music is playing. And
Well, it makes sense.
and it's free. So that's good.
It makes sense that
Yeah.
that would be the case. You know, we used to walk
Yeah.
around with transistor radios because everything was on the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, there really wasn't alternative to that.
Yeah. Just radio only.
Just AM.
Yeah. Well, if
Yeah.
you want it to be portable, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because you had records.
Yeah, we had records, but yeah,
Records
radio.
at home. And,
Yeah,
Little boom box on your shoulder.
a little.
Did people really walk
a
around
little.
with them?
What, boom boxes or
No, just
transistor
little
radios?
Yeah, little transistor radios.
No.
Okay. I thought you made a motion kind of.
No,
like you were-
I was teasing. That's my mini boom box.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Just
No,
thinking
people
that would
I
be
knew
annoying.
didn't. No, they didn't. No.
Everybody.
No,
Yeah.
no, they didn't.
That's good. That would be annoying.
Not like how people would walk around with their Walkman with their
right.
No,
With their headphones.
yeah,
Yeah.
didn't do that. No.
I wonder if you
Uh-uh.
could have.
Probably. I don't know.
We don't have any more questions.
All right then.
I'll give a minute to if anyone has any more questions.
Okay.
In the meantime, I will tell a story that I sometimes, when people ask me in interviews
Mhm.
Whether my parents and family was supportive of me being a musician and doing all this stuff, because that occasionally I get asked that
Mhm.
question, and I always say yes. Of course, everyone in the family has been really supportive, but not at first. I remember, I don't know if you remember when I first went to college. I first went to Sonoma State, and I started school there, and I had been in a band in high school, and I came home. I wasn't playing music the whole first semester of college, and I came home during Christmas, and you were asking me, like, how's everything? How's school? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, I think I want to start another band. And you were like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Do school. Just do school. Just go to classes and don't do another band. You don't need to do that.
A band takes a lot of time.
It does.
And college is very expensive.
Yeah. So I mean, I
so your
understand.
focus needed to be
I
on
understand
college,
why you said don't do
Yes.
it. But also at the time I was like, I'm going
gonna
to
do it anyway. What she doesn't know won't hurt her. Exactly.
I think I even said that. I mean, I think
Yeah.
I even was like, yeah, I'm going to.
Probably.
I'm going to.
Yeah. It's okay.
So I already had met a few, Logan was going to school there, and
yeah.
I had gone to his shows and seen him play, and met all his friends, and met a bunch of musicians, and had already met some people that I was interested in playing in a band with. So
you were very busy.
I did it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was busy.
Yeah. That's what happens.
But I made it work.
Yeah. And working at the bagel shop.
Yeah. I worked at a bagel shop. Had to be there at 5 or earlier. No, 5, maybe 5:30. Sometime in the 5 o'clock hour, I had to be at work.
So what I didn't know didn't hurt me.
It worked out fine.
It worked out fine. Yeah, it did.
Okay, we got one more question. And then maybe we'll wrap it up. Mom, M claims you make the best cookies year round. What are your best or favorite cookies?
Oh, when the kids were at home, before they all took off to college, there were always cookies in a cookie jar, always, and it was a big cookie jar like this,
like a swing top, glass thing that kept them fresh.
Yeah. So there were always cookies, and which I enjoyed baking. My mom always had a full cookie jar, so it was just part of what we did. My favorites, my personal favorites, I think are, of course, chocolate chip. We do a chocolate cookie with peanut butter chips, and then a peanut butter cookie with chocolate chips.
Chocolate and peanut butter is a Whitehurst favorite combo.
It's
that's what we gravitate towards.
Right. Emily's husband likes the chocolate cookies with peppermint squished in between.
Those are good.
Mm-hmm.
What do you call those? I guess chocolate peppermint sandwich cookies.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think we gave them a name.
Yeah.
And then for bar cookies, we do a blonde brownie, which is really good. My people at work would love it when I would take those to work. So those are my favorites. We were talking yesterday about oatmeal cookies. I love oatmeal cookies, but I never found a recipe that worked for me. So that's the newest challenge.
Yeah, we might actually do some testing, because I'm starting to look at the list of patrons who are going to be ordering some cookies. And a couple people have already said that they like oatmeal cookies. So I'm like,
Yes.
I don't have, I can do it. It's going to be great, but I'm going to find the best recipe I can first.
So we're going to test them. We'll be taste testers, and they'll be good. There were lots of taste testers in my house.
Yes.
Like we would eat the cookie dough, a lot of it, before we baked them. Always.
I remember one time I made cookies, and I made myself feel sick from eating too much cookie dough.
I remember one time.
It only happened once.
One time.
I still eat cookie dough, but I just know not to eat too much.
One time when my sister and I were in high school, we came home from school and we made a batch of chocolate chip cookies, and we actually ate all of the dough. That day.
Wow.
And it was a much smaller recipe than the recipe that I use. It was my mom's recipe.
Probably for 2 dozen cookies.
And then we realized that our mother was going to be coming home, and she expected the cookie jar to be full of chocolate chip cookies. So we had to go to the store and buy more ingredients. And that was a bad idea. I never did that again.
Did you feel sick or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we had to make more, which was like looking at them was like, ugh.
Grandma's wondering why you're not eating them fresh.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't tell her.
Yeah.
What she didn't know wouldn't hurt her,
it
right?
was fine.
It's fine. It all worked out.
That's great. I would love to have a constant cookie jar here. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
But just not healthy, Am I planning on touring for the acoustic songs? I have not made any plans to tour acoustically. That's the first I've heard of anyone wondering that. So for now, I'm still just working on the next record, which I will do a heavier focus on booking some shows. playing acoustically, I mean, I did it for these videos and I practiced a lot to be able to do those. And, you know, you have the convenience when you're recording of playing and messing something up and then, okay, start over, you know, picking a good take and making sure it's the best that it can be. So, so playing, I would have to really practice a lot again to be able to do an acoustic tour. So the short answer is no. And last question here. Are you planning to take your mom to any fiesta events around town? Yeah, she arrived on Tuesday, and we actually went to fiesta on Thursday during the kickoff. We were there. Around. Well, okay. For those of you who don't know, fiesta is a really big San Antonio event, and this is my first year living here, so I still don't fully grasp everything that it's about. But it's a week or more, 10 days. I think it's a 10-day fiesta. And there are just events happening all over the city. And it seems to me to be very food-based. There are a lot of parades. And then there are a lot of events where you go and you eat food and drink, which is fun, you know?
And this is the 300th anniversary.
Yeah, this is a 300th anniversary of San Antonio.
Which is cool.
So yeah, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So yeah, we were there on Thursday, and well, at least I was not dressed appropriately. I wasn't dressed colorfully enough. I felt there are people there with crazy hats and
it was
flowers and another thing about it is that I believe, maybe Julian, maybe you can clarify this, but I believe it's in celebration of the events that happened at the Alamo, you know, the San Antonio taking the Alamo back.
I don't know. That would make sense to me.
I think the
yeah, that would make sense.
I think the battles
and commemorating
that happened.
that
Exactly.
horrible battle.
Yeah, I think the battles that happened were around this time of year.
Yeah.
I think it was early May.
Yeah.
Which I guess fiesta is not quite. It's always in April, I believe. But I think it's related.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's related to
we'll
the
look
Alamo.
at one thing that I think is really cool is that when you drive around now, some people have their houses decorated. It's like Emily's neighbors on both sides have fancy, colorful wreaths with streamers on their doors. I told her she needs to do that.
Yeah.
But it's just, I think it's really cool because it's like a city identity, and it's just neat. You know,
it seems like everyone is super into it, and there's these medals. What do they call them? They're not medals. They're maybe they're just pins.
Fiesta,
Fiesta. It's a pin that's like on a piece of fabric, and sure,
I'll go get one.
We have a couple laying around, and it's like you can collect them, and different businesses make a fiesta pin every year. For Julian, maybe this is kind of funny for me to. Oh, okay. It is medals. Okay. Here she comes.
It's a free plug for Freetail.
Oh yeah, we've got a Freetail medal here, and it's got a little bat on it and their logo, and it says Fiesta 2018. If it'll turn, there we go. And I guess you pin it on your. There were people with sashes.
Oh, with sashes. They were like
ribbons and
yeah.
They were loaded down.
And I kept thinking, oh my God, how heavy must that sash be? Because they're metal. They're not plastic. They're metal.
Right.
And they're really pretty cool. But
so Julian responded and said, it's about medals, drinking, food, and music.
Perfect.
And he doesn't go to a lot of events and has no clue what it's about historically. That's okay.
Okay. We'll find out.
Well, and I am not a huge crowds person. Neither of us are.
No.
So we weren't there for super long, and it just was very crowded. And
it was very crowded
and chaotic. I think chaotic is a good
Uh-huh.
a good way to describe it. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure if we're gonna go to any others. I mean, we were looking at maybe there's one that's New Orleans centric, which
Food
seems
centric,
cool.
yeah.
Which is a lot of New Orleans
Mhm.
food. I don't know. It's going on for another week, I think. So
Yeah.
so we'll see.
There was one today that I thought would be fun to go to at some Fiesta Flotilla, where people decorate canoes and rowboats and kayaks and float down the river.
Mm-hmm.
The pictures from last year were pretty cool. It's a family type of activity, and it just looked like, a boat float parade. It just seemed pretty cool.
Well, it would be cool to see the actual riverboat, like the riverboat parade. That's on the riverboats, downtown.
Oh,
I bet that one's pretty cool. But again,
it's
gonna be
crowds.
so
It's like,
packed. If you've ever been to the Riverwalk in San Antonio, the walkways are like, if it's crowded, it's like only two people can pass by each other on these walkways, and there's a river right there. So it's like
it's not deep. If you fell in, it would be okay,
or anything. But it's like I imagine it's got to be.
I don't want to imagine
for the river parade.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, maybe if you were staying in one of the hotels and you could just watch out
down
your window. But
yeah, that would be the way to do it.
I don't really want to get
like, no,
thank you.
No, thank you. I'll pass.
No, thank you. Everybody have fun. I'm sure it'll be cool.
I'm sure it'll be great. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. All right. Well, I think we're pretty much done here. Christopher says hello.
Hello, Christopher.
And nice to meet you. I hope you guys enjoyed meeting my mom, who I love very much.
Aww.
And it's been fun having a guest on my, give me some feedback, later, whatever. Because I do have a couple more. My cousin Tess is going to be here next month. So I'm thinking about
that would be fun.
Yeah, I'm thinking about having her on maybe
Tess is fun.
for the next live chat. And we'll see how it goes.
That would be cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming and for asking questions. And we'll do it all again next month. And let me know if you end up having more questions for my mom, because she'll be back to visit. So we could always have her on again. And, maybe when I hit my 200 patron goal and I have my karaoke machine, maybe we can do some karaoke together.
Not gonna happen.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Not gonna happen. Like you and Tess and Julie did on that trip.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can do Love Shack.
That's what we
Emily's
did.
good at that.
My cousin Tess and my sister and I did Love Shack on a cruise that we all went on.
It was fun.
It was fun.
Yeah.
We could do that. You could do the guy part.
There you go.
Oh, that's Rock Lobster. I don't know. I don't even know how it goes. It's as big as a whale. It's about to set sail.
Not going to happen. We'll let Doug do karaoke.
Okay. We won't do that. All right. Well, it's been fun.
Yes.
And thank you, everybody. And we are now signing off.
Bye.
I will see you next month, and I will see you around Patreon. Bye.
Bye.